live on Facebook, or you could be watching live, and I'm going to make sure you have sound here, and volume is always good. Or you could be watching live on Facebook. So you can see behind me, I'm going to use a mat up on an elevated floor. I'm actually going to be doing the yoga on a tile floor, so not necessarily comfortable. I'm taking one for the team, but I want you to be able to see, and Truman will be less in. It's the middle of craziness. So in the midst of corona crazy and granted concerns of all kinds, no matter what your opinion is about whether people are overly concerned and overreacting or they're not, I think if we can just kind of all just call a timeout and say, okay, let's just respect everybody's opinion. We're all kind of riled up and upset, a little anxious for various reasons. Maybe because it's literally bothering you, you're worried about it being a threat to you or someone that you love, or you're worried because or upset because everybody else is so upset, right? And there's the domino effect, and all of the things that might be 30 minutes where we can collectively be a community, even though we're online. So if you know somebody right now for whom this would be appropriate, this is for any age, males, females, welcome to be here. So just want to support our community. Hey, nice to have you all here. And I want to start with a little deep breathing. So that's my purpose here. And also want to encourage you. And I had an essential oil bottle with me. I was going to just show it. So if you've got some essential oils, is spearmint, and that's a little bit more invigorating, but still kind of relaxing. So kind of pick something that you love and enjoy, whether you want to rev up for the rest of your day or you want to bring yourself down and just relax. Lavender will do that a little bit more so. If you want to get revved up, you might choose something like citrus that will get you going. So think about what it is that you need right now. Peppermint also helps, spearmint probably more uplifting, but I put a little on my palms, rub them together. And what I want you to do, if you've got that, is just take a deep breath in. Hold it for a few seconds, and then exhale out. You can exhale through your mouth or through your nose, and just do that again. And I also take a couple drops and I'll put them right here, either on my earlobes or right behind my ears, just so that you can do that when you go to sleep as well, but so that as you warm up and you're doing your practice, if you're doing the yoga with me, you also will kind of amplify that as you warm up. So one more time, just take a deep breath in, hold it right there at the top, and then exhale, and try to exhale right here through your diaphragm. Breathe out and blow it out. You can do the yogic breath if you know how to do that. So you're going to inhale through your nose and then exhale with some volume all the way out. So a couple more breaths here. And one of the things I want you to realize is as you take that deep breath in, and you hold it at the top, we often don't fill our whole lungs up. We kind of get to about the top third of our lungs, and that bottom 2/3 is actually where we actually get oxygen to all of the tissues in our extremities, what gets it to the fingertips and to your toes. So as you exhale, take it all the way out. Exhale, and if you have your fingertips just kind of on the bottom of your ribs and the top of your pelvis, should feel like that exhalation takes you all the way out, like a balloon is losing its air. Inhale, and it's right down here. Take a deep breath in, but you're not raising the shoulders, you're not lifting the chest, it's way down low. And that's a yogic breath. Don't get tripped up on that, don't get worried about that, but you can continue doing that. As we go and do the yoga practice, you can just do the breathing. If you're concerned about your shoulders, your knees, and your hips, and of course, I don't know all of you, I don't one-on-one know what adjustments you need, and I'll mention some, but really what I'm going to do is try to take you through a yoga flow. If you need some kind of modification, you may need to stop or pause or bend your knees a little bit more. So I'll give you as many cues as I can, but my in 1 and 2 and then 3, and then we'll go into sun salutation starting and going into warrior poses. And we'll go through 1 and 2 and 3. We'll see how you're doing. We may come down to the mat and see what our time is. I don't have a watch on. My goal is to kind of take you through just an easy little flow, take you down to the floor. So you can always come back to this later. You can do as much as you have time for right now, but it's a great transition for the end of your day into your evening to relax and restore if it's appropriate exercise for you. So I'm going to head over to my mat. I'm going to use some volume so you can still hear me. So you may want to turn up the volume on your device, if you're on your phone or if you're on your computer or laptop or iPad, just turn up the volume because I'm going to be away from the device here. So find your mat. I'm going to kick off my sandals. May want to rub your hands together again. I'm going to have you stand toward the front edge of your mat. And I want you to rock your feet back and forth. Here comes the down dog. Okay. So at this time, when everything's a little crazy, pets can be a wonderful way to relax, reduce blood pressure. They can raise it too. I can attest to that. But even the act of petting a dog for a few seconds decreases their blood pressure and yours. So if you can put yourself in a situation where you've got pets or borrow one, it could be helpful. I want you to settle in so your weight's on your heels and weight's on the balls of your feet and your big toe and little pinky evenly. Press those feet into the ground. It's where that grounding term comes from. So press in, but then tune into what's happening here at your knees. So I want you to soften your knees just a little bit so you're not locked or hyperextended. It's important that you come into straight and just release them. So I'm not bending, not flexing, but I'm not in this position. And believe me, I can go there too. So soften those. That allows on the knees. I want you to think about your hips. If you put your hands on the top of your hip bone and worked your fingertips all the way around to the back of your pelvis, that should be like a bucket, parallel to the floor. So your anterior bones, the front of your hip is not higher than the back. The back is not higher than the front. Those of you that have a big curve in your back need to check in there. You're making it neutral for the purpose of yoga. Now I want you to think about your rib cage. You're just going to try to lift your ribs off of your hips. And all I mean by that is don't sink in. And it's easy to do this at the end of the day, that 5 o'clock posture, especially if you sit a lot. You don't even realize you're doing it. I want you to just lift up like there's a string on the top of your head, lifting you tall. Tuck your chin in slightly, crown of your head is high. Now check back in down here. Weight's on the inside and outside of your foot, the ball of your foot and your little pinky. Your knees are slightly bent. Your tailbone is just slightly tipped under. You're lifting your rib cage off of your hips, and then I want you to lift your shoulders, put them down and back behind you. And you want to feel right now like you're just broad and open across the shoulders. And drop your fingertips down, tuck your chin in very slightly, and I want you to take a deep breath with me. Arms come up when you do that. And hold it right here. Push those feet down into the floor. Look at your thumbs if that is okay for your neck. And on your exhale, I want you to dive forward. I want you to hold it about halfway. So when you're about parallel to the floor, I want you to notice what happens. Now here's the place where you'll want to round your back. Go ahead and do that. And then just release the head and shoulders. And what I'd like you to do is to take your feet about hip width apart. And you're going to cross your hands. Hold on to your elbows with the other arm. And allow yourself to just fall down. And I'm going to turn to the side once again. And just hold this stretch. Relaxing in the weight of your head and the weight of your arms is giving your lower back just a little passive stretch. Gravity is doing all the work. There is no pushing. You're slightly bent at your knees. If you feel you can go straight, please do that. Hold it right here. Just do a couple more breaths and you're just going to let it flow into the stretch that it wants. Then again, you can straighten the legs if you want to. Couple more of those deep breaths in and out. One more deep breath in. Exhale and come down. Release your fingers to the floor, and I'd like you to bend your knees right here. And then on an inhale, I want you to create that flat back and come all the way back up. But easy knees, so you're bent on those. Bring your feet back together. Take your hands down, bring them to heart center. This is kind of a mountain pose. Hold it right here, feet. Equal weight on the inside and the outside of the ball of the foot and the little toe. Lifting the knees, not locking the knees. Tuck the tailbone under slightly. And let's take a breath, and we'll do that one more time, but not hang. Inhale here. And then exhale, dive forward. Your tailbone goes back, round the back as you need to. Now in this one, I want you to inhale and take a long spine stretch to the front. Put your weight on your heels. Lengthen the crown of your head away from your tailbone, so you're feeling a stretch through your hamstrings and through your spine. And if you're not quite that flexible, you can take those hands up and put them on your shins to lengthen forward. On your exhale, I want you to come back down all the way, go a little bit deeper. And on your inhale, you're going to come up with a flat back. Bend your knees, though, if you need to. Reach up, all the way up. Feet are down, but you're reaching those fingertips away. Feel a long stretch through the core. And then exhale, hands come back to your heart center. But when you circle those arms, I want you to feel like you're reaching your fingertips further than they actually are reaching. Think 2 inches past your hands. Arms come into your chest. We're going to do that one again with a little bit more flow. Inhale and lift. On the exhale, you're going to dive forward, weight on your heels. On the inhale, come into that spine stretch to the front, tuck your chin in. On the exhale, go deeper into the stretch, don't pull. And on your inhale, come up, flat back, bend your knees if you need to. And then exhale, take your hands to the heart center and feel a little bit taller than when you first started. We're going to go on, and now we're going to do that forward fold or sun salutation 1. We're going to step back this time into a plank. So inhale. On the exhale, dive forward, chest to the front, palms down. Inhale, lift forward, and on the exhale, step back. Come into your plank position. Palms are flat, nice and long here. As you're in this plank pose, I want you to push back through your heels. Palms are spread open. Lift the tops of your thighs. You should feel your quadriceps working here. They are active. Make sure that you're not just in the core. Shoulder blades relax. Inhale here at the top. And on an exhale, you're going to slowly lower down. Your shoulders should always high. If you don't have it, you're going to come up just part way. Keep the elbows bent to an upward facing dog. So be careful about that lower back. It should feel just fine. If you wish, you can be up, knees high, feet are flat. Inhale. You can tuck those toes underneath. Lift with your belly strength. Come into a downward facing dog. So you can adjust your fingertips. Don't stay stuck if it's not feeling comfortable. But I want you to open those hands. Splay all of your fingers. Should be carrying some weight. Your index finger and your thumb. I want you to lift your tailbone toward the ceiling and then exhale and sink into your heels. See if you can wiggle your toes. Inhale again, lift up as if somebody's got a hold of you right here. And then exhale, use the strength of your arms to push back through your feet. You want to feel as if your elbows are slightly bent, your biceps and triceps are spiraling around your arms. You're not locking or hyperextending at your elbows. Take one more breath. Inhale here. On the end of your next exhale, I want you to step forward 1 foot at a time, right between your feet. Allow your head to fall down. And on an inhale, straight back, bending or straight legs, depending on what you need to do. And exhale. Hands to the heart center, and just hold that pause for a moment. Checking with your knees. And remember that when you come forward or you're coming up, this is not just a reach out, it's a reach beyond. So you're really stretching beyond where you're touching and your fingers go 2 more inches. So there is extension throughout your body. So think about all those parts as we go again, twice more with the stepping back with a little bit more flow. Pay attention to movement with the breath. Here we go. Inhale, reach up. And then on an exhale, I want you to dive forward. Inhale, spine stretch to the front. And on an exhale, step back into a plank pose. Inhale here with the top. Push back through your heels. Exhale and lower down. This is chaturanga. Inhale. Come into an upward facing dog. Your knees can still be on the ground if you need them. And then exhale. Use your belly strength to lift up. Send your feet in. And then make sure you're checking in with your wrists. Want the crease of your wrist to be parallel to the front of your back. Inhale and lift up. Exhale and sink into your heels. Use the strength of your arms to press into your legs to get a stretch there. Easy on your toes, the weight is not there. And on the end of your next exhale, I want you to look between your hands and step forward. Allow your head and shoulders to fall down. And on an inhale, come all the way up. Good and nice job. Stepping back and in slightly. I'm going to move my mat just a little bit further back. Good, now catch yourself, and if your breath is choppy here, make sure that you're catching yourself breathing easily in and out. So as you inhale and lengthen, you exhale and fold. Every movement and every breath should go together just naturally. So catch yourself if you're holding your breath. Let's do one more with flow, just like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, take that spine stretch forward. On your exhale, you're going to step back into your plank pose. Inhale here, pushing back through your heels. Exhale, lower down to chaturanga, shoulders stay up. Inhale, coming into upward facing dog, knees up if you can. And on an exhale, use your belly strength to come into downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, we're going to play just a little bit here. Stretching through the lower back, through the hips. So if you've got some tension or you know somebody in your household who does, you can share this with them. Now you take your right hand, move it over toward your left. So you're actually reaching across just a little bit more, but keep sending that right heel down. And exhale out. Take a breath here. Move your right hand back. And you're going to move your left hand over to the right side, but keep pushing your heels back down into the ground. And exhale, breathe. Palms come back in together. Lift one more time. Inhale, lift, raise, raise the hips up. There goes my voice. And exhale, send your heels down into the floor. And then inhale, look at your hands. On an exhale, step forward. 1 foot at a time. Relax the head down. And on an inhale, remember it's a straight back, but the knees can bend if you need to. And then exhale and release. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do same beginning. You're going to be at the very front of your mat. I'm going to take you into warrior one, and then we'll also do warrior two. So as we do the warrior one and two, we'll come all the way through the sequence to come into warrior one. And then we'll start again to go into warrior one on the opposite side. So I will be open toward you and then away from you, depending on which side we're on. So listen carefully to my cues in the first one so that I can get you going in the right direction when I'm faced away from you. Standing nice and tall, slight bend of your knees. Inhale and reach up. On the exhale, you're going to dive forward. Tailbone goes back. Inhale, spine stretch to the front. And exhale, step back into that plank pose. Inhale at the top here. Let's just get a little heat. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. And then inhale, coming into your upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Send those heels down into the ground. Raise your hips high by pushing through the arms. And then exhale. And on the very end of your next exhale, I'm going to take my right foot forward. You can take your right or left depending on what's most comfortable for you, and I'll let you see me from the screen. On an inhale, you're going to come into a standing position. Your arms are going to come up in warrior one. So they're nice and high, nice and tall. I'm going to drop my hands down. I want to point out a couple of things. You can keep yours up or put them down. I want you to pay attention to what you see out here on this knee. So my knee should right now be over my ankle. When you're looking at it, that should be what you see when Truman's not in your way. Your knee should be over the little toe side of your foot. What we tend to do as females is cave in. So be conscious of moving that out. And what you'll feel is that your glute kicks in a little, and that's a good thing. So make sure your knee goes outward and you can see your big toe as you look down. With that back leg, I want to make sure that back knee is straight. The foot is down, turned out at about 45 degrees. You have that little pinky side of your foot down, and it's a lift in the arch back there. Now, take the arms up. Make sure your shoulders didn't go with them. And on your exhale, I want you to sink into that stretch. Good, now you've been there for a little while, I know. Inhale, so you're feeling some work here. You're developing some heat. This is energy management. So it's keeping you focused on what you need to focus on. Good, last little tip for adjustment. Your weight should be easily on that heel. And if it's not, I want you to crawl those feet forward just a little bit further, that front foot, so you can get out of the stress on the knee, stay in the heel, use the glutes, push it open. One more breath. Yes, you've got this. And then exhale and sink down. Good. Take your hands all the way to the ground or the floor. Step back. Inhale here. Exhale as you lower down, chaturanga. Keep your head up. Inhale. Coming into upward facing dog. Open the chest. You want to pull those shoulders backwards, please. Shoulders down away from your ears. And then exhale. Use your belly strength to lift up. Send your feet down into the floor. Strength through your arms to lift your tailbone and then sink into your heels. On the end of your next exhale, please take your opposite foot, the one you didn't just do, right between your hands. Spin that back foot about 45 degrees, and then inhale and come in into warrior one. So again, you can put the hands down just to check in with things if this is a new move to you. You want to make sure that that knee is going out over the little toe side. Pressing, trim and stop. Keep the weight on the heel. Remember, if it feels pressure in your knee, that foot is probably too close. Crawl it out. The back leg is straight. Feel like you're opening your hips. That's what you want. You want that little toe side of your foot down and the arch to feel like you're lifting up and hollowing it. Take your arms up, look forward. Remember, arms, not shoulders. So on your exhale, try to sink down into that stretch just a little bit more. Hold the pose. Inhale. Lift your eyes up. Exhale. Check in with that front knee. Push it out over the little toe side. Take one more breath. Inhale. And on an exhale, take your hands down to the floor. Step back into plank pose. Push back through your heels here. And then exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, coming into your upward facing dog. And exhale into downward facing dog. Bring your feet just a little closer if you need to. Use the strength of your hand to remember your index finger and your thumb will shy away from weight. So try to hold some weight in all those digits and then lift with the hip, press the heels down into the ground and relax the weight of the head. On the end of your next exhale, step forward, right between your hands, relax the head down. And on an inhale, big reach out to the side with the arms, stretch, expand, and lift up. Drop the arms back into the side, but remember that reach is a reach and a stretch. Get some extension across the chest and through the back when the hands come back in. We're going to go on to warrior two. So same beginning, different ending. Inhale, reach up. On the exhale, you're going to dive forward. Send your hips back behind your heels. Inhale, spine stretch to the front. Exhale, step back into your plank pose. Inhale here. And then exhale, elbows staying close to your sides. Inhale into upward facing dog. Pull those shoulders back, sternum forward, shoulders down and back. Raise your hip up. And on the next exhale, I want you to take your foot forward. I'm going to take my right foot forward, spin my left foot around, and on an inhale, pushing up, breathing. We come into that warrior one, but on your exhale, you're going to rotate into what we call warrior two. One arm forward, one arm back. Now, the alignment of your feet changes. So I want you to move your front foot over just a little bit further forward from where you're facing. So if we were to draw a line from the heel of the front foot to the foot of the back, you're intersecting it like a T, ideally. So you're a little bit more stable. Same positioning with this knee over the little toe side. Activate, don't let that knee fall in, okay? Take the arm forward, look over your middle fingers. Take the other arm backward, and I really want you to reach those far apart. Inhale here, crown of your head down to your tailbone. Exhale and sink. And again, if you're crowding that front knee, toes walk forward slightly. Inhale here, straighten that back leg. The knee is straight, the little toe is down, the arch is lifting. Inhale here. Should feel as if you're moving your hips open, one side away from the other side. Take one more, focus over that hand, and as you exhale, sink down like your hands are on a tabletop. Inhale here, and then on your exhale, you're going to take your hands down to the floor. Step back into your plank pose. Inhale here and exhale as you lower down. Inhale into your upward facing dog. Exhale. Hips high into your downward facing dog. On the end of your next exhale here, I want you to take your left foot forward, right between your hands, spin your right foot open, and again, come into warrior one. Exhale and sink down. Feel pressure in the knee and the ball of your foot. Move that foot forward. Back leg is straight. Little toe, pinky down. Inhale, take the arms, not the shoulders. And exhale, sink. Good. Now, Open this one. Good. Now pulling the shoulder blades back together is really what you're doing. Open here, look over those fingers. Exhale, sink down. Inhale again. One more breath. And exhale, bring your hands down to the ground. Come back into that plank pose, pressing back. Inhale, you've got some strength here. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, coming into upward facing dog. And then exhale, lift your hips, walk your feet in, open up that whole hand. Make sure there's weight on your thumbs, the crease of your wrist parallel to the front edge of your mat. You're lifting through the tailbone, sending your heels into the ground or the floor. And then on your exhale here, I'd like you to take your right foot forward, spin your left foot around, stay there with your hands. So on this one, I want you to hop your back foot in 2 inches closer. Front leg straightens out. And we're going to go into warrior three, or what we call triangle pose. So coming up, this is a good place if you have a pillow or a book or an ottoman close by. If you don't have a yoga block, that would be the first obvious thing. You could use it right now. If you don't have a lot of flexibility yet, you will. Okay. The other place for this hand to go is on the leg, but what I want you to remember is there's no weight on this. It just happens to be here, okay? So don't put weight on it, don't push on the knee. You're gonna take this arm and reach it up. Good, and sometimes you get a little free chiropractic work here. Yoga can help you realign your spine. Straighten both legs, lengthen out. What I want you to be thinking, tailbone reaches back, your sternum reaches forward. Try to get that spine long, not curved, so it's nice and straight. You're looking up at your thumb if you can. And if you feel not stable doing that, you can look forward or you can look down. Holding here, if you can let go of that leg and just open the arms. Think about you're the spoke in a wheel. Reach away from the center and get length through every limb. Don't sink in, extend out. And then imagine that top hand is around a rope. Pull yourself up and then release. I'm gonna have you turn both feet to the front. And we're gonna switch sides here. So on this one, we won't go through that beginning. We're going to turn the opposite foot out. In my case, I'm turning my left foot forward. My right foot spirals in slightly. Your feet are planted the same way they should be, most likely. What I want you to do here is imagine you've got a little attitude. Take your hip back. And that'll give you a little bit more length, and you may feel a stretch right here through your inner thigh already. I want you to take your hands one forward and back, and then reach out over that front foot. There should be your inner thigh stretch. Stretch it out. Hold it here. Look over those fingers. And then bring the hand down. Remember, you're not going to push on that leg. The other arm goes up. And you can either gaze at the ground, out in front of you, or you can look up. Reach up. So hold here. And if you can, this bottom arm is just reaching. Fingers are not on the ground. Hold here. Lift and look. Lengthen back. Spine is long. Sternum forward. Inhale. Drop that arm back slightly. And then take that top hand. Grab a rope. Pull yourself up. And then take the feet. Point them both to the front. Take your arms out to the sides. I'm going to have you put your hands on your hips. Just hold them right here. So from this position, what I'd love for you to do is think about putting the weight in your heels and then press your hip back behind you. You're going to hinge forward right here, flat back as far as you can. And when you can't go flat anymore, round your back and allow yourself to come down. Remember that wrap around, hands to the opposite elbow, and I'd like you to hang right here. So now again, you're getting a good hamstring stretch in the back of your thighs. You should be getting a good lower back stretch. And then breathe. So let yourself really enjoy it. If you need to soften the stretch in your legs, you're going to bend your knees slightly. Inhale here. Exhale, breathe out. Inhale right here. Exhale. And relax. Drop your hands down to the floor and then just listen as well as you can. And take your left hand down to the floor. Turn your left fingertips pointed toward your right foot. And with your hand right there between both feet, I want you to take your right arm and sweep up. Try to keep your spine, your back as long as possible. So right now you don't want any rounding in that lower or upper or middle back. Stay long and tall. Reach it out. Look around you. If you feel like you need a greater stretch, you're going to move that hand a little bit further back. If you need a little softer stretch, that finger or the hand can move forward toward the foot. And remember, you want to get the stretch that you need. The right stretch is better than the perfect or the harder. Take your right hand down, fingertips pointed in the direction of your left foot. Right in the middle of your feet just to start. Now flatten that back again. So no rounding here. You're going to sweep your left arm up. Reach toward the ceiling with it. Little spinal rotation. And again, if you need a greater stretch on this side, move the hand back. If you need a little easier stretch, move that hand forward. And then release. And with both hands, just gently on the floor, I want you to bend your knees. Your weight should be on your heels. Fingertips come up. From this position, I want you to scoop your tailbone underneath you, roll and round all the way up through the spine in the back. Come back in. Just going to bring myself down just a little bit closer to you. Holding right here, like it to come up. With your hands, lift right above you and take one hand and reaching and holding on to my right arm, reaching to the ceiling. I'm going to hold on to my head and I'm going to carry that head off to the side. So get a nice good stretch through my side. So with my right arm straight, my right foot reaching into the ground, I'm getting a good side stretch on my right side over here. Inhale and come up. We won't hold that for long. Take the other side. I want you to get the length here. Inhale. And then on the exhale, let your hips flare this direction as you go with the upper body in the opposite direction. Send that same heel down into the floor. And then on an inhale, come back up. Take the arms out to the side. Drop your shoulders down. Take your hands into the center. Good, and hold here. Check in with your knees. So have you kept that soft knee? You're not blocking. Good. And release. I'm going to come in toward you. What I'd like for you to do is, if you can, sit cross-legged. If that's not comfortable, you may want to sit with a pillow underneath you and a bolster so that you can easily sit cross-legged. So you can easily sit with more flexibility and mobility. Lift it up. So this step is about 6 inches. So it's definitely going to give me some support if I wanted to sit cross-legged there. For the rest of you, if you don't have that, just put a pillow underneath it. You could fold your mat up and put it underneath those sit bones, and that will often help and ease the stress that we can sometimes cause either at your knees or at your hip flexors. If you're doing that, I'm going to block a little bit of the light over here. So I'm going to pull this screen in. Hey, Jennifer and Debbie and Terry, and hello from Laredo, Texas. Julie, hello. Stephen and Tom and Raining, hello. So finish here. And if your essential oils are still in your fingertips or not, think about using that throughout the day tomorrow, especially if you're going back into the real world or if you're working at home and you're quarantined. Just a little bit of deep breath with some essential oils here can be helpful. And that aromatherapy goes a long ways for keeping your vagus nerve stimulated. And what that means basically is that you're putting you into parasympathetic, which is where we want to be. So, a good practice to take a few deep breaths and then exhale before you eat. So, that puts you into a more relaxed state. You have better stomach acid and enzymes so you can digest your food better. You won't feel so rushed. And if you can just slow yourself down enough to do that, even that can help with optimal weight, optimal energy, because you're digesting your food a little bit better. And all of these little bits and pieces can be so very helpful when there's a lot of stress and there's a lot of just anomalies going on out there. So the other piece would be get outside, get some sunshine, and make sure you're drinking plenty of fluid. So I hope that was helpful. Just a very short little practice. Laura or Lori, you are very welcome. So this is going to always be here in Facebook. So if you happen to be watching in Facebook at facebook.com/flipping vibe 0 TV, you can find the video. It'll always pop up in videos. I may or may not be doing any more lives really quickly, but it'll be there. And we'll see comments and how that went. And we may offer a little bit more through the week, depending on what the news is. So for those of you who are watching in YouTube right now, YouTube live videos don't actually stay. They're archived, but it's a little bit harder for you to find. So head over there. For those of you who are yourself interested or you've got friends who would be, this is, I think we're all reconsidering, is this the time to do that? But we have a special metabolism makeover coaching class starting tomorrow night. So today is the last day to register for it if you want in on that. I will put the link down below on the Facebook so that you can find it in the comments. For those of you watching on YouTube, it's flipping50, all words spelled out, no numbers.com/metabolism-makeover. And tonight's the last night to get in and register if you want to take that. First night is tomorrow. And, in light of everything, the thing that I would say, we went ahead and decided we're going to keep this on the schedule because for a lot of people, stress causes them to eat. And so being conscious about some of the other habits that can actually have a positive influence on what it is that you're eating is probably a good thing. And all the things related to improving your metabolism are related to putting you at optimal weight, helping you get sleep, helping you decrease your stress level. And they are also helpful in boosting your immune system. So we're feeding right into the other things. So we've kept it out there. Hey, Bev, you are welcome from Australia. Wow. So I'm thinking it's early in the morning, depending on where you are in Australia. So thanks for tuning in. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your weekend and or start to your week, if that might be it for you, Bev. And let me know. Keep your questions coming. You can find us at either Deborah@flipping50.com, and that's all words spelled out, or you can hit us up on Facebook or on Instagram. You can message us if you need some support or wondering what exercise right now is appropriate. But I would say this. Yes, exercise is stress, and that's why you want to find your sweet spot, because think of a kite or a violin. You've got to have stress in those strings. Adequate stress and not too much stress, right? In order to either fly the kite or to play beautiful music. And so it is with you and I. We've got to have an adequate amount of stress. If you have no stress, you're dead, my friend. There's no heartbeat, because all the meaningful things and people in our lives cause us stress. That's just a fact of life. But the idea is, where's that perfect kind of optimal stress? So it may be less than you're used to doing, but keep active, stay with a routine because your body likes routine, and that also will help boost your immune system. Just tune into what are you feeling. If there's extra fatigue there and extra stress, you might tone it down a little bit, but keep yourself moving, keep yourself healthy. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Namaste.